Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the best teams for the Open Great League for Season 25. We're going to have 2 more weeks of Great League coming up now, and of course you want to be prepared to get as many rewards as possible. So if you enjoy this videos, feel free to subscribe to this channel as well as we're going to take a look now real quick at the meta, because actually PvPoke changed their ranking and there's a new Pokemon at number 1. Which is going to be Jellicent, a Pokemon that maybe you didn't really expect too much. But Jellicent is now the number 1 Pokemon for PvPoke, which is interesting, which is worth a video maybe. And generally, I feel like a lot has changed from what we've seen prior. Third is, I feel like, a little bit higher up as well now, at number 3, which is deserved. Bastiodon is really high up as well, which is also quite deserved. And here we just generally is going to see like the top meta for the current Great League meta. And a lot of old school Pokemon, which I kind of like. We have the Altaria, we have the Azumarill, we have, Pokemon like the Wigglytuff still up there. We have, funnily enough, Lickilicky at 10 and Lickitung at 15. Is Lickitung back again? Could be the case. I might want to try this out as well on this channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. But that's generally the meta for the Open Great League currently. You have Doublade at 22, one of my favorite Pokemon, which is going to be also featured in team number 1. And otherwise Talonflame is there. Don't have a team actually for Talonflame today. Don't even have a team from the Marowak today. How could I? But there are a lot of very interesting teams coming up here that I specifically enjoy. Those are the teams that I mainly would play myself here today. Let's start and take a look at them. This is my go-to core. Like, I have to say that kind of in most of the videos as well for the Great League. This is my go-to core. I think this is the best core currently in the Open Great League. Is Doublade lead, the Lickilicky, and then here Wigglytuff or any dark type in the back. That's what you need. That is going to win you most of the battles. Doublade Lickilicky core is broken. In my opinion, like, that is just a broken core, and then in the back you just need something that can deal with certain Pokemon. Dark helps you out a bit better against Ghost type Pokemon. Wigglytuff helps you out a bit better against Dark type Pokemon. It really depends on what you kind of want to focus on. But the reason why Doublade is so amazing is because of the coverage that this Pokemon has and the typing that it has as well. You don't have that many weaknesses, but basically what you have here going for you is going to be the Sacred Sword, which is going to allow you to hit normal and Dark type Pokemon that usually Ghost type Pokemon struggle with, and that is amazing. Truth be told, I actually would like to see a different Pokemon than the Wigglytuff in the back. I do think, personally at least, that the Guzzlord the Guzzlord is actually one of the best Pokemon that you can run in the back there. Reason being, you have that fire weakness in the lead, so if you're going to encounter something like a Talonflame in the lead, you would rather have something like a Guzzlord than a Wigglytuff in the back. So that's just sad towards that, but generally speaking, this is a fantastic lineup. Like, honestly, this is my go-to team for the current season. This is the team that I would kind of recommend here the most. I would more say go for Guzzlord, which I haven't played yet, by the way. But I played so many other different Dark-type Pokemon, like Morgrem, like the Umbreon, and it was always fantastic. Like, this is the team that I would, personally at least, recommend you the most. As we kind of move on now to more of another team that I would recommend you a lot as well. If you have seen my channel and my content over the last few weeks, you've seen way too many, sorry for the delay there as well for the animation, way too many Toucannon. Toucannon is currently the best closer in the game. Full stop. That's it. Like, it is the best closer in the game. I can't even say anything other towards it. And then you have the option here, if you want to go for the offensive say-stop, then you go for Jonkus. If you want to go for the defensive say-stop, which I usually go for, is Corviknight and Gaston in Elite. And you have a near perfect core that cannot really be broken. Not much more to say. Like, look at what Toucannon can do. It beats the top 5 Pokemon in the meta, and basically all the weaknesses that you have, you can bait out with either the Corviknight or the Togekiss, which is just fantastic. So definitely something that I would recommend you to give a try, and we can move on now to team number 3. Team number 3 is going to be interesting. This is going to be now something that is kind of only got unlocked this season. Basically, what we have here is the Altaria and the Empoleon core. And if you wonder why this only unlocked this season, it was already very common prior. Like, that's more of a joke towards it. It was already very, very prior. Very much common prior as well. The main reason why it's now so much stronger this season is because Dedenne is gone from the meta. Dedenne has kind of really disappeared because it got nerfed this season, and that makes this team nearly impossible to beat. The worst Pokemon to encounter for you is Stunfisk, which, if you have Energy and Empoleon, you win. If you have basically Altaria against as well, it's a very neutral matchup. You have chances there. But like this team is fantastic. Like this team has so much potential, and I would highly recommend you to give it a try. The core itself is just broken. Like I might make another video towards it as well. Like Altaria and Empoleon core is ridiculous. This is team number 4 here, which is the team that I kind of came up with immediately after I saw the season buffs, where we have the Empoleon and the Jellicent backline. This is a perfect backline together with the Wigglytuff in the lead. You can go for Charm alone Ninetales, or even Powdersnow alone Ninetales. Actually, Powdersnow alone Ninetales might be even better in the lead as well. Or the Toucannon. They all work out quite well. They all do kind of similar things. And just the main benefit of this here is that you are going to have basically the Ludicolo as a Sealeo, which is going to have so much potential in the meta. Actually, Ice Beam Ludicolo, you can also, like, if you don't have charge teams or whatever, instead of these, you can run Ice Beam as well. Because you have a Fairy in the lead, if you Sealeo Ludicolo, you most of the times get out of the Dragon type Pokemon if they have one, then you can punch them as well, kind of surprise them. But generally speaking, I kind of like the idea of the backline of Ludicolo and Jellicent. I feel like Ludicolo can bait out Pokemon that Jellicent doesn't want to face, and with that, it can just do so much. I think it's a fantastic backline, basically. Ludicolo supports Jellicent a lot. I have videos towards this team as well on the channel already. Definitely check them out. But yeah, this is a fantastic team. I enjoy this team so much. And let's move on to the next one, where we will have here the Azumarill. The Azumarill, the Pokemon that actually never disappears. The Azumarill is like literally been top meta since the beginning of the Go Battle League. We have Charger Bug as a Sealeo and the Gaslope in the back. A bit weak to the Rock Boys here of this meta. I guess actually Credilli is totally fine as well. Like it depends really on the matchup. The Bastion can be a bit tricky because you don't have really good coverage with the charge moves of the Pokemon here. You still have team effort that can work out against it as well. But basically here, for example, if Charger Bug has energy, if the Gastos is neutral against Credilli, if the Azumarill has energy, they all kind of hit the Credilli for some sort of damage. So I wouldn't even say it's like the worst matchup ever. But yeah, this is going to be team number 5 here. That's more of a classic one with Azumarill, and there's going to be even more teams with Azumarill coming up very soon as well. Here, though, is a team with Florges, and I want to make a kind of specific video towards Florges as well, because I feel like this Pokemon deserves it. It's such an amazing pick for the Open Great League as well. This is a team that I played recently, the Ultra League, and I kind of just want to try it on the Great League. It's fantastic because what Florges can do with Trailblaze and Chilling Water is ridiculous. Like, this Pokemon itself can do so many different things. And yeah, it just can, like, either you win the lead, which you see as well. You have a lot of kind of matchups where you would win the lead with this specific Pokemon, or if the opponent stops out, then you can just debuff them for the next matchup afterwards, and that just helps out so much. If you have Corviknight and Empoleon, you have a bit of a weakness to Electric type Pokemon in the back. That is something I want to say here. That's why I have Ferret as an alternative Pokemon, which is going to make it more neutral. But that could be a problem for you depending on what you kind of want to do there. But generally speaking, yeah, this is kind of a fantastic lineup, especially I played again in the Ultra League already beforehand. It was fantastic there. I really enjoyed it. And I would think that this would work out in the Great League because on paper it looks amazing. I think it definitely should work out quite well there as well. This is a classic. This is an absolute classic, if you know what I mean. This is a team that has been around since basically one of the earliest season. It got buffed so many times now in the meantime, though. Like, it's not the same anymore than what it was before. It got buffed quite significantly. What I mean with that is you're going to have here the Abomasnow in the lead, which got buffed with Powdersnow and Weather Ball. We have Sableye, which got buffed with Foul Play, as well. Power Gem got buffed, and then Azumarill recently got buffed again with the Bubble. Bubble was, I think, buffed at one point prior as well already, but like now it's kind of back where it was, yeah, before. But this team is fantastic. Like, this team has perfect coverage for its own weaknesses. You have the lead that's going to be weak to Fighting type Pokemon and Fire type Pokemon. We have a coverage for Fire types on the Power Gem Sableye as well, of course, resisting the yeah, Fighting type damage as well. And then you have Azumarill or Jellicent in the back to cover the weaknesses of Abomasnow as well. Abomasnow is kind of where you want to mainly keep your shields. You can also put it onto the Sableye. But generally speaking, you have a lot of pressure with the elite. You have a lot of coverage with this team as well, which is fantastic. And I would really recommend you give it a try. The only really actually answer for this one is Toucannon, which is quite rare to be seen currently. Bastiodon, Annihilate, as well as the Ludicolo is going to be also an interesting team here. We're going to have here the Leavanny as an alternative Pokemon on the back. Leavanny is actually kind of funny. Leavanny has access to Shadow Claw from the community today, but has like very solid charge moves and Leaf Blade, as well as I think Scizor, which is going to be double stab and quite hard hitting because they all kind of got changed and buffed and whatever back a few seasons back, but like here, this is like a very solid team. You can use other grass types as well, like other than the Ludicolo. Why do you want grass types here? You have already the lead basically that is going to be able to counter those flying type Pokemon, like counter flying type Pokemon as well as ice type Pokemon that usually at least grass type Pokemon don't really want to face. And then what we have here as well is the Haste of the Annihilate, which has Ice Punch, which is going to be able to cover flying type Pokemon, beats also ice type Pokemon, but generally it's just there to bait out the flying types. So you're going to be able to still punish them with Ice Punch, and you can avoid them with your Grass type in the back. Grass type covers the weakness of Bastiodon and Water and Ground, which is quite important to cover that, and so it's kind of fantastic here. And the Liveni has the benefit as well, compared to the Ludicolo, that you're also going to cover the weakness of Fighting, as you resist Fighting as you are a part Bug type. So that's kind of where this kind of comes in clutch. It's a very nice synergy between Liveni and Bastiodon, which is kind of funny. It's something I kind of maybe want to explore for the video as well, but let's move on to team number 9. Which is going to be Sealeo, the Gourgeist as well as the Clodsire. That's a bit of a team that you wouldn't really see that often. It's not really a team that you see generally a lot, but I think it's a cool team. You're going to have Sealeo, which is a lot of potential now, especially with the season's buff to Powder Snow. It kind of helps out quite a bit. You have Gourgeist with Incinerate new this season, which makes it a very interesting Say-Sub. Has a lot of coverage, as you can see as well. You're going to have coverage for Fire, Grass, as well as Ghost, which is cool. And yeah, we have in the back of the Clodsire. I think Clodsire is kind of underrated. I feel I kind of want to take a look at Clodsire a little bit more as well again. I think it's a Pokemon that deserves a little bit more love, which it currently doesn't really get as much. Which, yeah, again, I feel like Clodsire has so much potential in the current meta as well. So yeah, might be something that we can take a look on this channel as well. It's a Pokemon that has so much bulk as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's an interesting team that maybe you haven't seen as much. You have, of course, the double resistance to Fighting in the back, which is going to help your lead out with the Sealeo. And of course, with Clodsire as well, you kind of need this in order to counter Bastiodon, which is not your weakness anymore because you have this Pokemon as your closer. And final team for this actually quite long video is going to be here the Scizor, the Azumarill, as well as the Altaria. This is going to be fine. This is going to be an interesting one here. This is going to be something that, yeah, I think is going to be a just very solid team of Pokemon that, yeah, are just so bulky and so strong. And then you have the Scizor in the lead, and the Scizor is kind of where, it's like kind of the bread and butter of this team. The Scizor is going to be able here for you to kind of try to align yourself. That's kind of the main goal for this team. You kind of want to align yourself with this team. You kind of want to go ahead and get the right Pokemon against the other ones. And you have a double counter to Fire in the back because that's the only weakness of Scizor. But Scizor can beat most of the Pokemon in the 2-shield scenario. So invest your shields in the lead, try to align yourself, and then try to RPS the opponent with the Azumarill and the Altaria, two very bulky Pokemon that have weaknesses that are kind of canceling each other's out. So for example, Altaria, very weak to Ice-type Pokemon, Azumarill can resist it. Azumarill being weak to Grass-type Pokemon, Altaria can double resist it. So like it's a very good core together. And yeah, that's kind of how you play this final team. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you have a great time in the Open Great League. I can't wait for the next season where we actually have ranks again. I have a lot of planned for that, so definitely stay tuned for this. And if you want to support the channel, best way is to subscribe to it. And yeah, I will see you then. Bye-bye.